Hey everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review. And today's review is in association with MarvelousNews.com, your #1 news source for everything Marvel. And for today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new Marvel Legends 6-inch Deadpool figure from Hasbro. Now this figure is part of the newest Deadpool wave of figures with the Sasquatch Build-A-Figure. It comes packaged in the same style that we've been seeing with all the Marvel Legends. Up at the top you've got the Legend Series logo. The figure's clearly displayed in the window box, and then down below you've got the name of the character. On the sides of the packaging you have some artwork for Deadpool, and then on the back of the packaging you have a look at the actual figure, a brief bio in multiple languages, and then down below a look at all the figures in the wave that you need to get in order to complete the Sasquatch Build-A-Figure. Alright, let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside the packaging along with the other contents. Now this is the only figure in the wave that does not come with a Sasquatch Build-A-Figure piece. The only accessories this figure does come with is a pair of swords. Now these swords are very different looking. They're much smaller than the swords that came with the previous Deadpool figure, the one from the Juggernaut wave. You can see here a comparison. You've got the gray handles. You do have some sculpting detail with that, and some line work sculpted with the ridges and everything. The blades are done with just a gray type plastic. He will hold the swords in either hand, and he does hold the swords nice and tight. Also, he comes with a sword sheath, so you can put the swords in there when he's not using them, and again they will stay in there nice and tight. Now these swords actually kind of remind me of the swords that came with the old Toy Biz 5-inch figure. So you can see here those were also very short, so I don't know if they're meant to be like, kind of reminiscent of that, but that's what it reminds me of when I look at them. Now for the figure itself, this version of Deadpool is based on his appearance from the 90s comic books, and I think they've done a pretty good job with that. You've got a much brighter red color on the figure than you had on the previous one from the Juggernaut wave, which I actually kind of like, and then he's got the black. He does not have the little tip on the back of his mask like you see with that previous and more modern version of Deadpool. And then also just the outfit looks more like spandex than leather and armor plating. He doesn't have any kind of plating around his wrist or on his shin guards or anything. He does have the little straps that go around his wrist and around his ankles. Thanks to Jim Lee's Cyclops, which kind of started that fad in the 90s. So again, it is keeping with the style. And then he's got this harness piece, which is done with a gray kind of hard plastic, which has the sword sheath attached to the back there, and that's done with black. And then you've got the metallic silver on the buckles. For his belt, it's done with a red plastic. It is a separate piece. I actually like how it kind of looks with the Deadpool buckle, and then again you've got the pouches all around the back, so I like that detailing. And then again he's got a thing of pouches around his right thigh on his leg. And again, that is a separate piece, and you want to be careful because it might start sliding down. This one seems to actually stay in place pretty good. Unlike a lot of figures that we've seen with this kind of feature, it doesn't seem to want to slide down the leg as much. So this figure stands about 6 1/4 inches tall. And here's a comparison with the Deadpool figure from the Juggernaut wave, and you can see here that this new figure is a bit shorter than the previous Deadpool figure they did. Here's a comparison of Hasbro's previous 2 Cable figures, so the new Cable that just came out with the same wave as this Deadpool figure, and then the previous Cable that was also included in that Juggernaut wave. And then finally here's a comparison of the Domino figure, which is also part of the same Sasquatch Build-A-Figure wave as Deadpool. So for articulation, you can turn the head to the left and to the right, and he can look down that much, and then he can look up that much. You really can't pivot the head to the left or the right with this one. Arms attached with your standard ball hinge joint there at the shoulder, so you can get his arm out good. He's got good rotation there at the shoulder, and then he has butterfly joints, so you get good back and forth movement there with the arm at the shoulder, which is nice. He's got a bicep swivel. He's got a double hinged elbow, so he can bend his elbow that much, and then you've got rotation at the wrist and hinges on the hand, so up and down movement there. He's got an ab crunch type joint, so he can crunch down pretty good, and then he can look back pretty good there at the ab crunch. He's got a waist swivel, so he's got rotation there at the midsection, and then with the legs he can do the splits that much. You can get the leg forward pretty good, and then can only do the leg back about that much. Does have a thigh swivel, has a double jointed knee, so good bending at the knee. Does have a boot cuff swivel, and then hinges on the feet, so up and down movement, and does have ankle pivot and 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet. So that's my review. So overall, I would say by itself, I think this is a pretty nice looking figure. I actually like this older look for Deadpool than the more modern look. I never really liked the thing that hangs out the top of his mask. I like the smoother look for the head sculpt. And then I like the brighter color reds that they used on this figure, and I even like the red belt that they gave him. My main complaint with this one though is I do think the figure is a little bit on the short side. So when you're looking at the figure by itself, it's not a big deal, but when you start pairing it up with other figures, I think he just looks a little bit short. I think the previous Deadpool figure was a better height for the character. Now the other thing is they did go a little bit skimpy on the weapons with this one, especially since there was no Build-A-Figure piece. It would have been nice if maybe they'd given us a few extra weapons. It's not a big deal since I've got plenty of Deadpool weapons from other figures that I can give him, but still, like I said, it would have been maybe nice if they'd given us a couple extra things like a pistol or something like that. Now this figure, along with the rest of the wave, has started to hit shelves. People have been finding it at places like Toys R Us. Big Bad Toy Store should be getting this wave in very soon at the end of this month or early next month. We'll have a full image gallery up at marvelousnews.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. As always, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. Also, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button down below. I'd really appreciate it. You can also follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I have links to those in the video description as well. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.